Hey everybody, it's Lon Seidman. We've got another unboxing. I just got in the new Pixel 6 Pro, which is the latest flagship phone from Google. And we're going to have a review of this coming up very shortly, but today we're going to unbox it. And what I'm going to do during this unboxing is point out all the differences between the Pixel 6 Pro and the Pixel 6 because they vary in size, but also vary in some capabilities that are important to know before you buy. Now, I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that this came in free of charge from Google. However, nobody is paying for this unboxing, nor is anyone reviewing or approving it before it gets uploaded, and all of the opinions you're about to hear are my own. So let's get into it now and see what's inside the Pixel 6 Pro's box. All right, so we've got the phone and the case. Let's do the phone first, because obviously we can't use the case without the phone. So I'm going to just open up my package here and see what we have inside. So here is the phone. And as we're looking at the rear of the phone, I want to point out some of the differences between the 6 and the 6 Pro. Now remember, this is the 6 Pro, and the 6 Pro has an extra camera on the back. So this has a 50 megapixel wide camera. That's on the regular 6 also. Both of them also have a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, but the Pro here has a 48 megapixel telephoto lens that is lacking on the Pixel 6. So just be aware of that. It looks very nice. This is now like no longer a camera bump, but a camera bar. And we'll open up the back of it here. Feels really good. This does support wireless charging. And I'm going to power it on here while we talk about some other things. Now, this is a larger phone than the Pixel 6 is. So this has a 6.7-inch LTPO OLED display. The regular 6 has a smaller 6.4-inch display, so the regular 6 is going to be closer in size to the 5A that we looked at recently. So not all that much smaller, but a bit smaller. Now there are some differences though between the display on the 6 and the 6 Pro. They're both OLED displays, but this one will have a variable refresh rate that goes up to 120 Hertz. The regular 6 is either 60 or 90 Hertz. I will say, holding it in my hand, it doesn't feel as large as some of the big Max phones from Apple, so it does have a good feel. Very smooth feeling. It's got a nice rounded edge to it as well. And the other thing to note is that the Pro phone here on the front-facing camera is better. So this is an 11 megapixel front-facing camera versus 8 megapixels on the regular Pixel 6. And what that means is that for shooting video, you can do 4K at 30 frames per second out the front of this camera on the Pro, but you can only do 1080p at 30 frames per second on the regular Pixel 6. So the big differences here are the cameras. Again, you've got a better camera in the front, an extra telephoto lens in the back, and a slightly better screen here on the Pixel 6 Pro. Now, another big difference between the Pro and the regular 6 is that the Pro has more RAM. This has 12 gigabytes of RAM versus 8 gigabytes on the regular 6. And if you are a power user, that's a pretty big difference in memory. This, of course, will multitask better because you do have more RAM to store things in the background. And sometimes you'll see a little better performance, perhaps, depending on the apps that you're using. So let's take a look at what else is in the box here. So we have our USB Type-C charging cable. They still provide the OTG adapter. This has been something we've seen on a bunch of other Pixel phones. So if you have an older hard drive or something that you want to attach to the phone, you just pop that adapter in there and you're good to go. And then we have a little manual in here. Now missing is the power adapter. So this is a new trend in the industry. They got rid of headphone jacks, and now the power adapters are going away. So there you go there. And let's crack open the SIM slot on this and see what the SIM tray looks like. So let me get to the SIM popper and we'll open it up. All right, so let's pop open the SIM tray and see what's inside here. Now this has got your spot for a nano SIM, but there's no spot for an SD card. So these phones, like many of the Google phones in the past, have a fixed amount of storage. Now the one they sent me is 128 gigabytes of storage. On the Pro, you can get a 256 gigabyte version or a 512 gigabyte version. The regular Pixel 6 is available with 128 or 256 gigabytes of storage. One last thing to point out is the 5G support. Now the Pro here supports the sub-6 5G, and it supports the millimeter wave 5G, which is the faster one that works outdoors if you happen to have it near your service coverage area. But the regular 6, depending on which carrier you buy it from, may or may not have that faster millimeter wave option on board. So definitely look before you buy on the Pixel 6 to make sure it's equipped with the 5G support that you're looking for. This is unlocked, so when you buy it, you don't have to commit to anything if you get it from Amazon or Google directly. So all in, it looks like a pretty neat phone here, and I'm eager to start playing around with it. So stay tuned. We're going to have more on this one in the very near future. And I almost forgot to open up the official case here, so let's see what this looks like. And this is kind of like your standard like silicone kind of feeling case, nothing fancy. In the past, they used to have these really nice fabric cases. This one doesn't feel as nice here, but let's put it in the phone and see what it looks like. Yeah, you might want to go with probably a nicer third-party case here. This one feels not cheap, but just doesn't have the pizzazz that some of their prior ones did. But we'll have a full review of the phone coming up in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. And we'll come back and explore what this new phone, its new cameras, and of course its new processor, which Google made themselves, is all about. So stay tuned. More to come on the Pixel 6 Pro.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Hot Sauce and Video Games, Brian Parker, Chris Allegretta, Tom Albrecht, Thomas Anfang, Jim Tanis, and Handheld Obsession. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.